Of course, Antarctica is the only continent that was discovered after all 7 planets of our solar system had already been discovered. And when humans first set foot there, they found that it was nothing but a vast, empty desert of ice. But later, when fossils and various pieces of evidence were found, we learned that at one point, Antarctica was home to some of the strangest and most terrifying animals this world has ever seen. And in this video, we'll learn about them. Mega penguin. Well, friends, you already know about penguins, those cute marine birds that are found only in and around Antarctica. And even though today they may look innocent and harmless, they weren't always like that. Yes, millions of years ago in Antarctica, the world's largest and most dangerous species of penguin evolved, the mega penguin. If we compare its size with the modern emperor penguin, and even with a human being, it was several times larger. Fossil evidence suggests that mega penguins could hold their breath underwater much longer than modern penguins, and they existed around 34 million years ago. For reference, that was the same era when one of the largest mammals ever, Paraceratherium, roamed the subcontinent of what is now the United States, Litopterns. You might find this surprising, but if you explore all of Antarctica today, you won't find a single plant. And you won't find a single true land animal either, only semi-aquatic creatures like seals and penguins near the shores. Which means the entire Antarctic continent today is lifeless. But it wasn't always like this. Yes, once, many land animals used to live here, and one of them was the Litoptern. These animals had bodies resembling camels, but their faces and noses looked more like tapirs. DNA evidence shows that their closest modern relatives are tapirs, horses, and rhinoceroses. Like their relatives, Litopterns were herbivores, and they lived in forested areas. This tells us that prehistoric Antarctica once looked more like a dense jungle, full of plant life. But around 34 million years ago, when Antarctica began to freeze, plant life began to die off. And with it, the land animals that depended on it also went extinct. Astrapotheres. Imagine a hybrid between an elephant and a hippopotamus. Yes, that's roughly what the prehistoric Antarctic Astrapotheres looked like. They are considered among the strangest mammals to have ever lived because we still don't know exactly who their modern relatives were. What we do know is that they were herbivores, living in Antarctica around the same time as the mega penguins and Litopterns, roughly 34 million years ago. They went extinct from Antarctica around that time, but some species managed to survive in South America until about 11 million years ago. Terror birds. So far, I've told you about some relatively gentle, extinct Antarctic animals. But surely there must have been something that hunted them. Yes, those terrifying creatures were none other than the terror birds. Fossils and even ancient footprints of these deadly predators have been discovered in Antarctic soil, confirming that they once lived here. Terror birds evolved in South America after dinosaurs went extinct, taking over the role of apex predators. And since South America and Antarctica were once connected, many species, including these birds, migrated between the two continents. Terror birds could easily tear apart both small and large animals. But surprisingly, their only living relatives today are the small Seriamas found in South America, Basilosaurus. Today, the apex predators of Antarctic oceans are powerful marine creatures, but they pose no threat to humans. However, if Basilosaurus, the ancient whale, were alive today, it would certainly be dangerous. They grew up to 60 feet long, about the length of 2 large school buses. Interestingly, Basilosaurus had small hind legs, about the size of a human arm, which served no purpose but proved that whales evolved from 4-legged land mammals. Basilosaurus went extinct around 34 million years ago due to global climate change, the same event that caused Antarctica to begin freezing over. Cryolophosaurus. It's a fact that dinosaurs were among the most successful creatures ever to live on land, and their fossils have been found on nearly every continent. From Triceratops in North America to Tyrannosaurus rex in the United States. The list goes on, but have you ever heard of an Antarctic dinosaur? Yes, dinosaurs lived in Antarctica too, and many unique species have been discovered there. Among the strangest is the Cryolophosaurus. Its fossils were first discovered in 1991 on Mount Kirkpatrick, one of Antarctica's highest mountains. Cryolophosaurus had a strange crest on its head, the purpose of which is still unknown, though it may have been used for mating displays, communication, or dominance, much like modern birds. It was a top predator of its time, living in Antarctica about 180 million years ago, when the continent was still part of the supercontinent Gondwana. Lystrosaurus. Lystrosaurus is one of the most scientifically important extinct animals ever discovered in Antarctica. It was first found in South Africa, then in the United States, and finally in Antarctica, which left scientists puzzled. How could the same animal exist on such distant continents? This eventually led to the proof of the continental drift theory, that all continents were once connected. Around 247 million years ago, when Lystrosaurus lived, all the land masses were still joined together, and their fossils became key evidence supporting that theory. Lystrosaurus was also a close relative of the early ancestors of mammals, more related to mammals than to modern reptiles. It was a highly successful land animal that even survived the catastrophic Permian mass extinction. In fact, it's believed that Lystrosaurus was one of the first animals capable of hibernation, a state where an animal can survive long periods without eating or drinking. Some scientists believe that, in the future, humans might use a similar ability to travel to other planets.
Where the forgotten still breathe, like strive.